Welcome to the Prog Talks by the Progspace. Welcome to the Prog Talks, an interview series by the Progspace where we will be talking to musicians in all corners of the progressive music scene.
Welcome back to another episode of the Prog Talks. I'm your host Dario, and as always, before we jump into today's topic and welcome today's guest, don't forget to get us a lovely cup of coffee. It helps us out a lot. You see it's still hot, but you can also get the cup, of course, in our merch store. And now, calling from the Netherlands, Abraham Sarache and Tristan Turner. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hi, all good.
Abraham, we had the pleasure of having a really fun talk before a couple of years ago for the Progcast. Just looked up, it was Progcast number 50, I think. So this probably 3 years ago or something. And a lot has happened since then. And you played the Progspace Online Festival, but you weren't able to play the ProgPower Europe Festival, which was supposed to go down 2 years ago. The pre-party obviously presented by the Progspace at the Castle de Berg, but now in 2 weeks' time, it's gonna happen, like in less than 2 weeks from when we're recording this. Maybe for the new listeners that haven't heard about you and your music, maybe you can introduce yourself and your bandmate, and maybe also the bandmate that's not here today, and tell us a little bit of what kind of music you're doing.
Well, thank you again, Dario. Nice to talk to you. I see that there's some bass there. That's very cool. Wasn't there last time. But first of all, yes, we do like a combination of modern prog stuff with alternative rock. It has a little bit of post-rock. It has a little bit of garage. It's a little bit of everything. Yeah, and for me, it's difficult to put like a name or like a label to this because it's strange, you know. When you create a stuff, it's like it's more difficult. Tristan has been in the band or almost from the inception of it. It's like I started looking for musicians like in January or something, 2016, and he joined us in May or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was going to be for the Gardener, the first album presentation in Volta, in one venue here in Amsterdam. And since then, well, it's been quite a road. Maybe Tristan can tell you from his perspective.
Yeah, I mean, Abraham mentioned there about like the variety of genres that have influenced him. I am a little bit different. I mean, of course, I went through my Dream Theater phase, my prog metal phase, and everything. But I come from a little bit more of a pseudo bassist. I went through my jazz phase, my funk phase, all that stuff. I mean, Flea from the Chili Peppers, as you can see up there, was a big influence. He was my first big idol. So I guess I bring a different flavor to the mix to keep it from being, let's say, pure prog. You know, I'm the hair in the ointment or something. But joining Abraham, I mean, I have had about a 2-year hiatus before I got back into playing with him. And when I saw him posting that he was looking for, he had this catalog, this completed album that was finished. He just needed people to play it live. Like, that sounded great. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't necessarily have to contribute too much to the writing process. Though it felt like there was something that already had momentum and, you know, had legs. And I got there and we tried playing it. And of course, Abraham, being the ambitious guy he is, he arranged this thing. It was like freaking angel choirs, 9 guitars and stuff. Like, okay, now we have to arrange this ambitious project that he did, all by himself, like the Prog Prince or something. And now we got to arrange it for a power trio. So that was a real challenge in itself, and it certainly put me through my chops. And it was quite quite a deep end. But it's been a wild ride, and I can't believe it's already 6 years now.
Yeah, there's been some more releases in those 6 years since The Gardener, and it's kind of a double release. We can also see the cover artwork of one of the releases behind Abraham. It's of course Kaleidoscope of Fears, the EP first, and then the one that we see behind you, Abraham, Kaleidoscope of Dreams. So well, I always find it really interesting when we when I talk to bands, and we're talking a little bit the last couple of albums that they done, how they were different to another for the ones creating them, how maybe the creative process was different, but also how you feel maybe that the what came out at the end maybe also had some differences, like some different sounds to the previous output.
Yeah, of course. I mean, The Gardener was like more like a bedroom guy project, I was a bit tired of playing with many bands that they kind of reach a really decent level and they just stop going for the further steps just because, I don't know, they were comfortable or they just got tired of it or bored. And I was like, why? Why stop now? We have the contacts, we have the press, we have the support, we have the fans. So why stopping? What is this? And that brought me to the question of, should I do like a solo thing? And The Gardener was never supposed to be played live. I thought more of it like, okay, I'm going to release music with my name and let's see what happens. So basically, some month later, I got like 2 sponsors and people were asking, where are you going to play this? Are you going to come to Spain to play this? And I was already here in the Netherlands. And I was like, what is this? It's like, why this doesn't happen when you have the people, when you have the band. And then I said, well, I'm going to look for some people. And if it can work, it can work. Normally, I had really difficult experiences before with bandmates because normally people have many priorities. And the band is more like the last one of them. So that makes it learning the whole songs and making the band really working together, have chemistry, make it a very long process. But in this case, it was not like this. It's like I started playing with Igor, with the first drummer in January, and in May we were playing with Tristan, and it was like pumping boom. And in June we already released stuff, and in October we're in Madrid. So it was really fast. And I was also learning how to use this electric Cuatro because I don't use a guitar as main instrument. I use this ukulele-like, if you want to, more or less to see it in a way, nylon strings, distortion, delays and stuff. So it was a full learning experience, not only with the bandmates and arranging the songs to the trio format, but also sound-wise. And we were mentioning also last time, I saw the pedal board of Tristan, that when he started in the band, he had only one pedal.
No, it's kind of substantially grown, let's say. So yeah. So it's been a growth process for everybody.
And of course, that also shows in sound. So Gardener was more like, okay, I did everything there, recorded everything. It was more like kind of a conversation with myself that sometimes is good, but mostly is bad when you want to create more extensive and things that can reach more people. Because having different voices saying things, oh, what about this bass sound, or this bass drum is too loud, or this is too strange, or this is too muddy. How can we make that everybody's happy with the product, with the vision that I have, but that they also have their own vision within it? And when you make that work, it really comes like la creme de la creme, So that's more or less the idea. A little bit in the next EPs, like a Kaleidoscope of Fears and Dreams, I was more or less like the architect. I put everything more or less in motion, and I send the stuff to Tristan and to Igor, like, okay, what do you think about this? And of course, to my surprise, it's like all those phrases became even more complex. So it's like everybody had their own perception of it, and of course, enriches the music.
Funny thing is, because I already yesterday I recorded the upcoming episode for next week with Christian Ayala from Avandra, and he had like a very, very similar experience.
Yeah, it's typical, like you have like one person that is composing a lot of things, but maybe this person that composes a lot of things doesn't have other skill sets that other members of the band can contribute to and benefactorally make everything bigger and more real, because like, let's say my lane is that the composition, and then I do some tech stuff like engineering, but this is not really something that I enjoy. What I enjoy is composing music. So Tristan does other stuff.
Yeah, if I'll jump in. I mean, like, you're too modest to say it, but I mean, of course, it's clear your name is on the band, so that says it says a lot about it. But every band does need a motor, and Abraham is definitely that. But he's also like a good, I don't want to say manager, but he's a good leader in the sense that you mentioned there, that he's willing to let people express themselves freely and do things like very few people would put up with half the shit I do. But Abraham actively encourages it sometimes. More effects, more this. I mean, he's probably one of the first guys who's told me to play more as a bassist, which is a rare thing. So you can see why I'm hanging around for this band. But it's true. And yeah, Abraham might give like the guidelines or whatever, but or like the paint by numbers. He'll give you the outline, but you can choose the color paint or something, or whatever whack analogy you want to use.
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit like, what's the point of getting like a top bassist and telling him how to play the stuff? It makes no sense,
I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
It's like, it makes no sense. It's the same like, I play drums, I play bass, I enjoy those instruments, but I'm not a bassist or a drummer. I'm not like my 10,000 hours on just a snare drum. I'm not that guy. I like enjoying playing these different instruments. It kind of helps me to compose stuff, to internalize the way how the instrumentist plays his parts and be a little bit more comprehensive of his own process. But it's not my thing to go there and rudiment thing, no. And when you're a specialist in something, it shows, because it's like, this fits perfectly with this, and I would never come to that conclusion. So it's good to have people that do things better than you in other stuff.
Yeah, you just mentioned the drums, so it's a trio. There's two people here. Maybe you can introduce the current drummer for the Abraham Sarache band.
Yeah, the thing is that today we had a rehearsal for the ProgPower thing, and so he had to drive all the way back to Germany. Otherwise, he would have been here. We're a bit tired. We're 3 hours there. Kohrt is our current drummer, and yeah, it's been also like a blessing for a year. We've been like playing together, and he's very dedicated, and no complaints so far. It's just a matter of time, When the music is as complex as what we do, it takes time to make it flow in the right way, that you don't have to think about things. Oh, here comes the difficult part, or here comes that. That it's just like you sit and you play. You can play it asleep or drunk or whatever, and it works. And it takes time to do that. So I think that finally we're reaching that point with Jan, what is pretty impressive, because from all the drummers, he had the worst part, 3 CDs to learn. It's not the same to learn 8 songs, 9 songs, or learn 20.
Yeah, I mean, but before Jan joined, you played the the Progspace Online Festival. So how was that experience for you? As funnily enough, Avandra also played the Progspace Online Festival. So it is so cool to see bands that we had on our festival now going to the real stage at ProgPower. Not only those two. So yeah, how was that for you? And how did it feel for you as an artist, like during this time where you where the opportunities were very, very limited, if they were there at all, to play really live. How was it to experience that online, with like fans watching and commenting, and you maybe seeing yourself play on the screen?
Yeah, it's very different. It's very different. I really like the fact of the chat, but I couldn't catch up with everybody. It was so many people writing at the same time. It was crazy. Yeah, and it was like I was replying to somebody from 5 minutes ago, so I kind of got lost in the whole thing. Some people I couldn't even reply. It's very challenging. It's like some kind of moderator, social media moderator there on the video. Very difficult. But in general, I mean, it was a good experience because we were like, yeah, everybody was stopped, hard stopped from playing, from doing anything. That year, particularly, we had big plans to go to Spain, to go to the UK. We had Melkweg here in Amsterdam, and we had the ProgPower Europe. So it was like, okay, now what's going to happen with all that? What's going to happen with all those flight tickets and hotel rooms and stuff? So you have like a bunch of vouchers because that's what the airlines gave you. So let's say that festival was a little bit of ray of light, totally. In a way for us. And in that moment, we were playing with Danny because he was learning the songs just in case we could play any of the shows that would come. And yeah, he was very kind to join us for that festival. And yeah, it was cool. I think it sounded very good. I think you can see that we were like really wanting to play,
Yeah, you can still like for you listeners out there, you can still go to our YouTube channel, or maybe you're watching this on our YouTube channel. Check out the Abraham Sarache set and all the other cool sets in our online festivals from the last 2 years. But I think you just mentioned Melkweg in Amsterdam, and that finally took place by now. How was that?
I leave Tristan to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was killer. I mean, I make the joke that, like, of course, we were booked in 2020. We know what happened. Kicked to 2021. We know what happened. Finally, we got, third time lucky. And it's not often you get to play the Melkweg for the first time 3 times. But but it was killer, and it really, it's a bit of a mecca to have played there. And yeah, I mean, to slightly diverge and go back, I mean, the Progspace Online Festival was fantastic to do, and it was the highlight gig wise of the year. It was a new experience, of course. Online bands and online streams, it really quite wasn't a thing. I mean, we're talking on Zoom right now. Zoom wasn't really a thing before March 2020, right? So it was cool to try these new things, and it's kind of given birth to almost a subsect of like online bands, like because of course the internet's really broken down barriers that way. But it was the Progspace was a fantastic thing, but it's sounds stupid to say, or obvious to say rather. There's nothing like playing live for people in front of you. We had the Rorus roaring at us between every song at the Melkweg, and it was just, and I can't wait to play for some of those guys again at ProgPower this month. It's just around the corner.
I know exactly who you mean.
yeah, exactly, and they know who they are too. And it's that's grateful. Like they're the people that make it worthwhile. So they know who they are. So thank you for that. But no, Melkweg was incredible. And again, you've been playing literally in your bedroom for years, not being able to go outside. So to play that low B string through fucking one of the best PAs in the country was just, it felt like the wait had been worth it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It was very nice. It was very sharp sound, and the lights. We were very lucky. The whole team there, the whole crew was really professional. Everybody did the best. I mean, we don't have any complaint with that. From stage manager to engineer, everything was very sharp.
Yeah.
So of course that shows, It shows in the show when you just worry about your performance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Wonderful. But now coming up in less than 2 weeks, when this episode is gonna drop, it's only 10 days, I think. The ProgPower Europe Pre-Party.
Yes.
And you have prepared something a little bit different for that, right?
Yes, an acoustic version of the 3 albums.
Indeed, we're arranging prog metal or hard prog rock for a 3-piece acoustic band. It's a challenge. Abraham, feel free to jump in if I'm misinterpreting it. But I mean, there's many. I'm going to speak from a bassist perspective. I find that there's lots of acoustic gigs and acoustic bands, but then you see the bassist and they're playing an electric bass. And they might, and I'm kind of done. I've been there before in bands from previous years where you do acoustic sets and they're basically just the exact same song bust out on an acoustic guitar, and it doesn't have the same dynamic. So what I really like is with this upcoming set, ProgPower, sponsored by the Progspace, is that we really are reinterpreting the arrangements and actually making them the best versions of themselves, giving a little bit more space, slowing them down in parts, speeding up. And it's really fun. And also, I didn't want to be one of those bassists I mentioned before where you're playing just an electric bass behind an acoustic guitar. I'm all in. So I'm going to use that. There.
That beauty over there.
I'm gonna. So rather than take the easy way, which I could do with an electric bass, I'm going to play my 6-string fretless acoustic, just to make life more difficult than it already is. So this is going to be fun. But from Abraham's perspective, of course, I know the sound of Abraham Sarache has been the Cuatro has been one of the main features and selling points. But he's actually going to play guitar, which is the first time I've seen Abraham play guitar ever was just a few months ago, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, because the Gardener was mainly composed with acoustic guitar. And then I want to have also that grid and low end that I had recorded there. So I say, okay, very cool. Let's do the 2 Kaleidoscope with Cuatro, with electro-acoustic Cuatros that I made precisely just for this concert. It's a custom instrument. Just arrived from Colombia like 1 month ago. So yeah, very, very nice.
You have it. You have it somewhere.
Yes,
you can show it.
I'm gonna just pick it up.
All right.
It was Christmas Day for him when it arrived. Like in the band group chat, he was sharing like every little thing. Like the guys applied this tiny little bit of sandpaper, and there's a new photo in the group. It's no exaggeration to say it's his baby. So it's a big deal.
So first of all, how cool is this? You get your own custom-made logo thing in the. Oh, I don't see. Here.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. The logo. Nice.
In the case, and then let me open this guy. So
wonderful.
Yeah,
that's a really weird effect with the artwork coming through.
But for instance, you can see. Let me see the phone.
We can't see. No, sorry.
Jesus.
It's literally the only thing we can't see, Abraham. Okay. Your nails look great though, so.
Yeah, pretty cool, right? It's like
you get to see it at ProgPower, right? So
yeah.
gotta come along to see it then.
Yeah, it's strange because I think the filter kind of interprets my face and doesn't.
Yeah, I mean we can see the body.
Yeah, but
and then the neck is just invisible.
Well, it's a very nice instrument made with ebony Krelikan from Cameroon, and it has a lot of nice details made of abalone, like shell. So it's really nice, and it has a Fishman microphone that is like a matrix. So I have the piezo in the bridge, and I have one internal condenser microphone inside the instrument, so you can blend in the sound very good. It's really a masterpiece.
Wonderful.
He's happy with it. He's very pleased.
So yeah, for the Progspace Online Festival, you released this as an EP later, as a live in studio EP, which is really cool. A couple of bands did that, and we were really happy to see them use that stuff that they recorded for the festival also for a little in between release, like The Stranger from Australia is doing now. Or ELO did with their EP, yeah. Is there any plans for this special ProgPower appearance to record it and maybe release it later?
The idea is to record it, but if it's gonna be an official release or something, I don't know. It's you know what happens that when you play places or things that are important to you and you don't have a crew to take care of all the stuff, you put a lot of pressure into you, and that pressure shows in the performance. You're like thinking the recording and the guy and the camera and stuff. So when this happens, I prefer to just take it easy. Take it easy. Okay, it's like, let's record, and if something pops out good or something is worth having it there, like for posterity's sake, then good, then let's release it. But yes, the idea is to have like a video and audio recorded. Cool.
And yeah, apart from that, I mean, that's acoustic renditions of older stuff, as you mentioned, as you explained. What about new stuff? What, like completely new stuff? Is there anything coming up? Or in the pipeline? No.
Okay.
Apart from concert and everything, just like looking into the future.
Yes, there are some stuff. I mean, I've been working in new demos since end of 2019, but I started more seriously when the Corona kicked in, so I had more time. And at that moment, I was already out of this time frame that I thought it was going to be something short, the whole Corona lockdown.
We all thought it was 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, something like that. So I thought, okay, let's try to see what happens. I'm going to plug stuff in and check. And some nice ideas came out. We actually have rehearsed already 3 songs of the new material, and to see how they interact with each musician and how does it sound live, because many people tend to now like compose everything in the computer, we have everything programmed and whatever, and then you go play that live and it sounds strange, it just doesn't sound the same. And I don't want to have that, in a way. For instance, Gardener, that was composed in a bedroom or a laptop or whatever, or was just me playing the stuff and then just recording layer, was a different situation. But here we have a bassist, we have a drummer, we have capable people, so it's like, let's see what each one of them can add, and then rehearse the songs, learn the songs, add the small details, and then we will record, because I want to get that like more organic band sound, and you don't get that unless you play the songs and you feel the pain,
We've had the benefit of I mean, we're talking now 2017, 18, 19, where we've had EPs where we've not gigged the songs and EPs where we've gigged the songs. And when you play a song live, new things come out. You're fucking around, and maybe some you create something beautiful. So that's like going back to what Abraham said. It's really beneficial to do so. So we'll absolutely do that. And I know that for many fans of bands, like it's almost like the worst words you can hear is like, here's a new song that we've been working on, and you're like, oh, no, shit. But it's the best thing for a band, because you truly creatively like blend when you do that. So it's and we look forward to doing that. Hopefully, gigging a few of the new songs before we even get them down recorded.
Yeah, let's see how that goes, because I've been willing to release this new CD that already has like a concept. It's going to be called, and a name is going to be called A Book of Regrets. And it's basically regrets of people that are dying, or things at the end of your life that you didn't do and you highly regret. During the pandemic, I was reading and reviewing all this material. I realized there are people like really digging in this kind of information, like kind of like, okay, what happens? There are books about it, there are video games about it. And I was like, okay, this sounds really like my kind of thing. So I'm going to make like a album record that represents this kind of things, like I regret not working that much or taking more time for the things that I really like, being true to myself, love the people that love me back, show my feelings, this kind of things. It's really important information, really important things that we as people should embrace more, and not wait until the end of times to take action.
Wonderful. That was the perfect statement here. Thank you so much, Abraham and Tristan, for taking the time to have this little chat here on the Prog Talks. It was wonderful. I can't wait to see you guys live on Thursday, September 29th in the Castel de Bergt in Barlo. Pre-Party, ProgPower Europe, presented by the Progspace. You guys out there, don't forget to check out Abraham Sarache's socials and follow him everywhere. You're going to find the links somewhere on the screen and also in the description, as always. And also, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to our channels, the Progspace. The links can be found everywhere as well, as always. And also, don't forget our cool merch that you can get in our merch store or get us a cup of coffee. Helps out a lot to keep this thing going. Until next time, that was really cool. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones and keep spreading the prog love.
The Prog Talks, produced by the Progspace. Main host, Rune Belsvik Reinholds. Produced by Rune Belsvik Reinholds, Vanessa and Matthias Kirsch. All graphics and animations by Vanessa Kirsch. Intro theme by Giuseppe Negri. Outro theme by Zach Munowitz. This was the Prog Talks by the Progspace. See you in a week.